Welcome back to the channel. All right, about a week ago, I said, you know what? I think because of meta changes, defenders, things like that, Cosmic Ghost Rider is maybe at the apex of his value in this game. Well, over the last week and a half, I've gotten so much footage that has me thinking, no. He is definitely, in my opinion, the best. It is incremental over Hulkling, but here we are. I'm going to show you these fights, and I'm going to show you, like, can't be stunned. I'm going to show you needs to have it over quick. I'm going to show you Mr. Sinister. Like, that literally doesn't make sense. Mr. Sinister is supposed to be punishing champions who crit. I'm going to show you questing. I'm going to show you buffet. Let's watch this and just show you, like, over this. Okay, here we are. New buff champion, Mr. Sinister. Really, really tough. Anyways, right? Because, you know, when you crit, he's going to heal it back. That tactic or that ability, Mr. Sinister, gets stronger over the course of the fight. And I know what some of you are thinking right here. You're like, oh, we're going to use the signature ability with the heal block and all that stuff. This meta, this is a Battlegrounds meta, right? And it's rich get richer. And I want to point out two things, because on some level you're like, oh, that's helping you out so much. And I'm not going to say it never helps. What I am going to say is learning to control Cosmic Ghost Rider and his power gain made this, I think, it offset any sort of benefit. And I have taken fights outside of this meta, or other people have, that show it is just as possible. I did this fight, this very fight, or this fight against a Mr. Sinister with a similar health pool in questing. I could not find it, and I am so sorry, but I swear to you that this was capable of being done outside of a rich get richer Battlegrounds meta. 51,000 points. I actually did Mr. Sinister more than once with Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now we're going on. Killmonger, one of the toughest defenders in the game, right? That vibranium armor, the damage back, and these sorts of things. Cosmic Ghost Rider just happens to start off with an armor break against villain champions. He just happens to get him. Like, yes, he gets those great armor breaks, and that's a big part of his damage source. But the way the game has just worked out, that in Battlegrounds, in questing, and war, one of the toughest defenders in the game in Killmonger, Cosmic Ghost Rider just literally starts the fight turning off the biggest defensive threat that Killmonger has. You can see in a lot of these fights too, notice that I get so close to getting the special 3 because there's just so much power gain. And that's one of the things, and that's one of the biggest things that I've gone through. There's a couple of them. One is that defenders have come out and Cosmic Ghost Rider is just good for them, right? I'm going to show you another rank 3 bullseye in this. I've shown you Photon. I've shown you Onslaught. People are even using him to beat Serpent, right? I think that one's a little iffy. I actually don't even have footage of it myself, but here we go. Here's another rank 3. It's a 7-star rank 3 bullseye. And one of the things I thought was, no, as these tough defenders get to rank 3, Cosmic Ghost Rider is just not going to be able to punch up enough. This is a 6-star rank 5 ascended. It's amazing. It's great. Hey, get your money's worth while you can. Ascend him early, right? He was an early ascension candidate for me. But as timing's gone on and we're seeing these rank 3 defenders in like Battlegrounds and questing and these sorts of places, he's handling them like it's no one's business, right? And this meta, there are other ways to take bullseye. Trappy has shown that multiple times. I have shown that. There's a rank 3 bullseye. Cosmic Ghost Rider is phenomenal. You just got to know his judgment system you can use. And here's the other thing. Here's another thing that's been extremely helpful to Cosmic Ghost Rider, in my opinion. It's the Striker. The Striker, right, from Relics. Not only is the Thor Relic great for Cosmic Ghost Rider, right? But also it is the Striker. It's the ability to elongate these combos. It's the ability to get an extra stun in. It's the ability to get in a couple hits or your massive heavy once you've landed all the armor breaks and finish off a bullseye with like a 50,000 crit heavy or something of that nature. That fight right there can actually go faster. It can actually go faster against a rank 3 bullseye. Now, another recent buff, one of the toughest defenders in the game, villain with, we just talked about how Killmonger, right? And Cosmic Ghost Rider just starts fights off against villains with armor break. This is a champion that's been in the game for, I think, 5 years, right? Oh, 4 years. And they just happen to put that ability in, and it's just happened to make him continue to be valuable against champions like this. Remember, for all of Red Skull's armor ups, they reduced the ability of the opponent's, I think, parry stuns or something like that. So getting those armor ups off of Red Skull, getting the armor breaks done. You see, we've got them all done now, and this fight is just over. This fight is over. I didn't even throw another special. There was the Striker coming in, doing significant damage after we've got all the armor breaks out. I mean, that's like literally what I'm talking about, right? And here's the other thing that's happened for me over the last couple months, and you got to go way back. Probably a lot of you haven't even been playing the game that long. I covered Ghost Rider when he first came into the game. I pulled him really early, and I was one of the first people telling you, like, don't worry about decks. You're going to do great. I played the crap ton out of Cosmic Ghost Rider, soloing war bosses for Loki. Battlegrounds didn't exist at the time. I just covered him so much, and then I just kind of moved on, like a lot of us do. He's just back. He's just back, and I knew that. I played Battlegrounds. I had seen it. Here we are. This is one of the tougher dual threat champions in the game in future Ant-Man. And with him, I think if you armor break him or if you like nullify the armors, they turn into these passives. So again, this like in theory shouldn't work, but Cosmic Ghost Rider is just so absolutely strong. These armor breaks are so absolutely strong. He can just dominate the fights. And I remember talking about this when he was first in the game. It was early. People were like, oh, doesn't have utility, doesn't have utility. And I was like, he's got enough. And he can create these openings where his damage is so significant that even though with a signature ability, it's only for like 5 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds. That's enough for him to just destroy the fights. Well, the thing I got wrong was he can destroy the fights outside of that anyway, because he's so absurdly strong. And if you know his judgment system, and I want to read this to you. Where is this? Hold on, I'm going to read this. We're going to find this so you can continue to watch. So here's a fight where you just want it over fast. You just want this over fast, right? You don't want Hulk getting all this passive freeze. You don't want him going unstoppable, because then you got to utilize your striker to kind of wait out that unstoppable. So the faster you can get this fight over, the better. Watch how fast Cosmic Ghost Rider gets this over with. Oh, here it is. Each judgment placed on the opponent increases the duration of any buff triggered on Cosmic Ghost Rider by 20%. So the later you trigger a buff, right, the basically the stronger it's going to get, or the duration is increased. So the biggest issues he has is still if you can't land his 5-hit combos or if there's evade. The game has gotten so massive and Kabam's thrown so many other challenges at us that it feels like the knock on him in those potential scenarios has actually become less strong. Let's call it, it's gotten weaker, because there's a larger percentage of the game and a larger percentage of challenges being thrown at us that he does handle, including miss, right? Because he has the vigilance off of a 5-hit combo with a medium attack. It's just, and then if you do the power gain late enough, it can just shoot you all the way up. Here's another fight. You just want this over fast enough. The only reason why I'm not going to come out of this with a massive health pool is because this was that like chrono node meta, or whatever, this last Battlegrounds meta that would just like place debuffs on you. So as a result, Void was a really nice defender for just getting your opponent's health pool down low. But the fact of the matter is, Cosmic Ghost Rider is going to get this down so outrageously fast, it doesn't matter. 31 seconds. And it wasn't done faster because of the meta. That's just how he gets the fights done. Now here's a fight where I didn't want to stun, right? That used to also be a knock on Cosmic Ghost Rider, right? It was like, well, if you can't stun, you're gonna have trouble landing your heavy. And I wanted to point this out because again, it's been so long since I've covered Ghost Rider in so many ways. You just have to charge your heavy. So in a lot of fights or other, I think it was in my last video like 2 weeks ago, where it was a fight against Photon, where I just created enough space to charge up my heavy, and then I've got it, and I'm good to go. Get the vigilance, good to go. Oh, and here's the other thing. He goes unblockable too. He can do that as well. So, he can handle auto block exceptionally well. The biggest thing he doesn't have is those like immunities that a lot of Cosmic champions have these days, but the guy handles so many things. I think it's okay for him to have one or two built-in weaknesses. He's just wild. He's just at 31 seconds in a fight where he couldn't stun. And as I talked about earlier, this is the sort of thing where the striker, if you're having trouble landing your heavy, your striker helps you out so much, right? Elongating combos. Now, here's what I wanted to show you. This was like the Alliance War showcase. And I was just blitzing through this, having a really great time, getting solo after solo with my Wolverine Weapon X. Hopefully you've seen that video. I had a lot of fun with that. And I kept coming up against this fight, and I was like, I just want to see if I can CGR it. I know it's buffet over time. And another knock on him is that he needs his buffs. And I am going to tell you, like, yeah, if he's not getting any of his buffs, yeah, he's probably not going to be that great. The armor breaks are good, but come on. Watch this. And this is buffet over time, and this is resetting every 7 seconds. Every 7 seconds. And I want to tell you, I actually have multiple versions of this fight. I could have included like 3 of them because I kept going in and having fun and just like screwing around and having a great time. But I was like, they're going to get the point after the first one. And I was choosing between one fight that was 31 seconds and one fight that was 30 seconds. So there we go. That our heavy was absolutely nullified. The buff we should have got on that one. We're still able to trigger our power gain, which is based off the judgments, right? The judgment is still on Lady Deathstrike. We go in, and this fight, it's done. She's not healing. She can't. She's power locked, right? And this is over. She's got 12 armor breaks on her. Look at that first crit. The first medium crit was for 30,000. We're going in. This isn't rich get richer meta. There's no tricks. There's nothing up my sleeve. That is that massive heavy I was talking to you about. Remember I was telling you about strikers. Not only allowed him to increase his combo, not only allowed him to get in like an extra stun. It's not technically a stun, but that sort of opportunity. But it's also provided chances to land like a 50. I said 50K. I think I'm slightly boost here. So a 60K heavy, which is also helping for fights like Bullseye when he's got his Killer Instinct or whatever the heck it's called up. You're just a casual 50,000 heavy. Don't worry about it. No big deal. Nothing to see here. It's just, I'm back to loving him. I loved this champion 4 years ago. I played the heck out of him. And I mean, maybe the next defender they'll put out, they'll be like, if you don't have a massive power gain, then, you know, bad things happen to you. I have no idea how Cabana will continue to make Cosmic Ghost Rider more and more valuable, but they just will. And then here's another thing. I've actually had opponents. I have a 7-star rank 2 Sig 20 Atuma. And I've had people destroy that with Cosmic Ghost Rider. I have not been able to pull off as good a result, but maybe I don't know. Maybe there's like a rotation that I don't know. Because I know that like getting Incinerates on Atuma can be helpful, but I'm not seeing how that would really make the difference. I know there is some RNG there, right, as far as like Atuma with the power backs and things like that. But the fact of the matter is if you can have a champion in here who can do these sorts of things, and then also potentially take Atuma for you and get the fight over with before too many things can stack up and become a massive problem, that's a pretty good thing. Oh, and he can also take Korg. I just don't have footage of that. So we know he can take Serpent. We know he can take, I'm not guaranteeing that one, but it could happen. We know he can take Korg. We know he can take Atuma. We know he can take Killmonger, Red Skull, Mr. Sinisters, future Ant-Mans, Hulks, Voids, rank 3 7-star Bullseyes. I'm hoping rank 4 champions are not for a very long time, and I wonder if he's going to have the damage for that as well. Learn his judgment system. Don't fear Dex, especially if you're going to just go to the SB3 anyways, which we haven't even shown in this video, gets you a massive, massive fury. He's wild, and I'll talk about it at length because I'm also on the same day recording the general tier list with the update for July. We just did the Battlegrounds tier list, came out today, the day I'm recording, and this video and the tier list will come out at the same time. And I'm going to speak at length on why I believe Cosmic Ghost Rider is just slightly more valuable, let's call it, than Hulkling. But the Illuminati has really pushed back, and they're so smart, and they know so much. I think essentially Cosmic Ghost Rider and Hulkling are tied. I think Hulkling is safer in general. I think Cosmic Ghost Rider, I know he is, his power, his damage, his ability to just blitz a fight, it's almost intoxicating, and it gets you to try stuff that can be really, really dangerous. So like in things like war where a death is really punished, maybe, you know, dial it back just slightly, but they are both amazing. They are both phenomenal. I love them both. And for me, they're tied. The best cosmics in the game. Herc's Herc, right? And he can save you some items and stuff, but you know, for war, for battlegrounds, for questing, those sorts of things, give me Cosmic Ghost Rider, give me Hulkling all day, every day. I'll happily trade you my Hercules if I have to. As usual, though, let me know what we got right. Let me know if you think we got anything wrong. And I don't know, if you're telling me Cosmic Ghost Rider is not good, I think I'm just going to have to leave that comment alone. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.